In 1975, David took his first balloon ride. And boy, it changed his life, and it changed ballooning. In the next 10 years after stepping into a balloon basket for the first time, he became the first balloonist to soar over Pikes Peak in Colorado, reaching a height of more than 14,000 feet. And that year he had won, and in 1985, he won the World Hot Air Balloon Championships in Battle Creek. But yet the best was yet to come. In '92, he won the World Gas Balloon Championships in Austria, and then he became the only pilot to capture the World Championship in hot air and gas. Later that year, he completed ballooning's Triple Crown when he won the Gordon Bennett Cup in Stuttgart, Germany, a feat that no one else has repeated. In 25 years of competition, David racked up victories in numerous national and international events. In addition to being the only Triple Crown winner of ballooning, he won the U.S. Nationals in 1989. He also won the 1998 Transatlantic Bicentennial Balloon Challenge, the '96 American Challenge Gas Balloon Race, and on 3 occasions he won the National Gas Balloon Championships. He also set distance records. In 2000, he set a distance record when he and his brother Alan traveled 1,998 miles from Albuquerque to Gorham, Maine, in his final victory. David also became a very accomplished and well-known and outstanding balloon competition director. And just a little personal side note, I remember David being in competitive events, sitting in the front row, very intent, and he always questioned the event director on something in the event, always questioned it. So I always thought it was kind of neat that he became an event director himself and had to take some of those questions from other pilots. David's not with us anymore. We lost him earlier this year. But today with us is his wife, Roberta, and his kids, Matthew and Rebecca. Roberta?
So first I have to say that thank you all for coming here. This is really wonderful. David had intended on being here to accept this great honor. Sometimes life doesn't always go according to plan. So my first time seeing a balloon was I was up in Aspen in the 80s, I think, and a balloon landed in the backyard of the home that I was staying in. And I thought, oh, what a beautiful thing. Little did I know that, I don't know how many short years later, that ballooning would become such an integral part of my life by getting hooked up with David Levin. So, as many of you know, he didn't live a conventional life. He was a man of many interests who was loved and admired for his generosity, his joie de vivre, and compassion. For 25 years, in both hot air and gas ballooning, he had a well-deserved reputation as a fierce competitor. He liked to remind me that winning sometimes required taking chances, but he did have a strong sense of self-preservation and a family he adored, so he did try and avoid overt danger. In the world of ballooning, as you all know, he became one of the world's most celebrated and accomplished pilots. I thought once he retired from competition, we would see more of him. But no, he became a much sought-after competition director in the U.S. and abroad. He loved it and enjoyed the camaraderie of both the pilots and staff. I'd like to share a comment made by fellow pilot Risto Jabala from Finland, who recently wrote to me. And I think this says it all for a lot of people involved in ballooning. He said, friendships that come with ballooning belong to a peculiar class. They are kept alive with short encounters that may have years between, but they are strongly felt. And though David had other interests, nothing defined his life more than ballooning. And what meant the most, even more than winning, was the relationships and friendships that he shared with people around the world. As many of you know here, competitive ballooning is quite different from recreational ballooning. The calm winds on a beautiful morning take on a whole new meaning when competition is involved. I'd say stressful is an understatement, and David was totally and totally focused on the task at hand. Any observers that may have worked with David over the years and had the pleasure of working with him would attest to that. He could be a bear. What I came to understand is this was David's style. He was a man of contradictions. He was harsh and demanding, charming and funny, and he was always honest. And in our circle of friends, he was the leader of the pack with a team of loyal followers in his many adventures. He truly enjoyed being a mentor and sharing his expertise. His involvement with the CIA and the Rules Subcommittee afforded him the opportunity to use his knowledge and expertise for the betterment of the sport that he loved. First and foremost, David was a balloon pilot. But like many balloonists, he enjoyed other ways of taking to the sky. He really enjoyed paragliding, but he had a few too many bad landings. And on the suggestion of a friend, and certainly supported by me, he bought a new flying machine, which would hopefully put my mind at ease, as he was less likely to do damage to his body. His motorized hang glider was yet another way to satisfy his aeronaut's soul. And though he is identified primarily for his ballooning accomplishments, there are several other interests that he will forever be remembered. Most notably his involvement with building a beautiful new Jewish community center in Boulder. He gave not only money, but a great deal of time and energy as co-chair, along with me, of the building committee. It was ironic, we held his memorial in the same hall we dedicated 5 short months earlier. Another of David's passions was skiing. His idea of paradise was 10 inches of fresh powder where he would gracefully glide down the mountain on alpine skis or tele skis until his legs gave out, only to go back and do it again the next day. He certainly had a lot of stamina. For the last 19 years, David was able to further his love for skiing by being a volunteer instructor with Ignite Adaptive Sports in Colorado, where he taught skiing to both children and adults with a wide range of mental and physical challenges. He truly found his calling. He was a member of the board for 19 years and board president for the last 4 years, and recently received their first ever Lifetime Achievement Award for Outstanding Services, which now sits with many of his other awards. He used to say that other than his family, nothing gave him more pleasure or satisfaction than sharing his love of winter sports with others. Though tall and very thin, David has left a very large void in many people's lives. No one, certainly more than Matthew and Becca and me. We thank you so much for your acknowledgement of this extraordinary man, my husband, David Levin.
So, three of you want to come up for the presentation?
Thank you.
It is my distinct honor and pleasure to award David Levin, to induct him into the National Ballooning Hall of Fame.
Very good.
Thank you.
Could you turn the page? Do you want to say? Did you want to say?
Oh.
Thank you. That was just the press over there. This is the important.
Yes.